So friends, let's see today's lovely Goan brinjal pickle. So now here I've taken one medium-sized brinjal, washed it really well, wiped it dry, and I've cut off the tip of it, and I'm going to cut it lengthwise into half and then again into smaller pieces like this, and then we're going to cube it into medium-sized pieces. We don't want very small pieces, but medium-sized pieces like this. Now I've taken a colander and I've placed a plate below it, and I'm just going to put all the cubes into that colander. Now this is my Nana's recipe, and she used to make it, always in the summertime or just before the monsoons. And you could call this an instant pickle because you could have it the same day. Of course, it matures with age and it tastes even better as you keep it longer. And it has a long shelf life also. So now that I've cut up all of the cubes, I'm just going to sprinkle about 2 tablespoons of salt. Now keep a plate below the colander, and you'll see that we're going to keep it aside for 8 hours, and you'll see that water collects. Keep discarding the water that collects down this on the plate. And after 8 hours, we're just going to squeeze out all the water. So just squeeze out all the water as much as you can. You can also tie it up into a muslin cloth and then, squeeze it out, because let me caution you, this brinjal, I mean, depends, you do get a little bit of itchiness in your hands. So what I did is I just applied a little bit of oil on my hands before I started to squeeze out the water, because I do get a little bit of itchiness. So to avoid that, put a little bit of oil on the palm of your hands. So now we're going to go to the masala paste ingredients that we need for this lovely pickle. So here I have an inch of ginger, 8 cloves of garlic, about a tablespoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of turmeric, about 7 dried red chilies, and half a cup of vinegar. Now I like grinding this masala on my masala stone, because then you don't use any kind of water and it's completely only with vinegar. But you can grind this in your mixer grinder too. But I like to grind it on the masala stone. It just it just reminds me of my childhood, because I used to do this whenever my grandmom used to make the pickle. She used to always ask me to grind the masala, and I love doing this. So you can grind it on your mixer grinder too, but we're not going to use even a drop of water for this pickle. So ensure that your mixer grinder is nice and dry, and you only add vinegar. That way the shelf life of your pickle will also last long. So now we have our masala paste nice and ready and fine. It should be really, really fine. All the chili should be ground well. So just take it out in a bowl or a plate. So now here we have our brinjal with, we've taken out all the water. This is our masala paste. Now besides that, we require just a few ingredients. So here I've taken about 5 large cloves of garlic and I've chopped them really fine. These are about 7 to 8 or maybe more, few curry leaves. This is about half a cup of jaggery, but you can adjust it as per your taste. And this is about half a tablespoon of Kashmiri chili powder and some salt to taste. Now here I've taken about 1.5 cup of oil in a pan. You do require a little more than, you require oil for this recipe. So now we're going to add the brinjal. See that your oil is nice and hot, and we're going to cook on a low to medium flame. Now we're going to add our brinjal, and we're going to fry the brinjal for at least a whole 2 minutes till the brinjal is nice and fried. So you'll get this kind of a brownish tinge to the brinjal. But this is also very important if you want a nice long shelf life for the pickle. Now once it's done, drain out all the excess oil and put them on a kitchen napkin so that it absorbs all the excess oil. Now to the same oil, I'm going to add the chopped up garlic. Fry the garlic also for a minute till it turns into a little light brown color. Next we're going to add the curry leaves. Now try to use fresh curry leaves for that lovely extra beautiful flavor for the pickle. Now I'm going to add this ground masala paste. And now mix it really nicely into the oil, and then you'll come to know that it's nicely fried, because you'll get the aroma of the beautiful spices that we've added, and the vinegar especially. You'll get the lovely smell of the aroma rather of the vinegar. Now I'm going to add this Kashmiri chili powder. This is just added for color, so that you get that nice rich color to the pickle. And now I'm going to add the brinjal that we fried. Mix everything in really nicely. And now we're going to add the jaggery. Now you can add it as per your taste. I'm going with half a cup, but then after mixing up everything and cooking it for about half a minute, you can just do a taste test to see whether you need to add salt, whether you need to add jaggery, whether you need to add a little more of maybe chili powder if you want it a little spicy. So do a taste test. Now I am adding a little bit of salt to taste. And now we're just going to mix everything really well. And I'm just going to cook this mixture on a low to medium flame for about 2 minutes at least. And then we're going to turn off the heat completely and we're going to let the mixture cool completely. Only once the mixture is completely cool, transfer it to a nice, dry and clean glass bottle. And our brinjal pickle is ready. You can have it on the same day. It does taste delicious, but the longer you keep it, it matures and tastes even better. So I hope you like this recipe and I hope you do give it a try. Do let me know in the comment section below how you like it. I'll catch you in my next video. This is Akshata signing off. Bye. So friends, let's get started. Now, on day 1, I've taken about 2 large raw mangoes or kairis, washed them, pat them dry, and then cut them up into small pieces like this. Now I'm using a big bowl and I've kept a colander on top. Now you'll see the color of the kairi peel. It'll be a light darker green. Now I'm just using some rock salt. You can use regular salt too. So I'm using about 3 tablespoons of this rock salt, and I am going to apply it to the kairi or the raw mango, and I'm going to just mix it up well so that all of the pieces of the raw mangoes get coated with this salt. Now the next thing is I'm going to put a plate which fits perfectly, and then I'm going to put some kind of a heavy weight. Now we have to keep this for at least 3 days, but every day, at least twice a day, you need to just take off the lid and just ruffle up the mango pieces or just mix them up well again. That's very important. You can do it once a day or twice a day. Just mix them up roughly with your hands. And you will see on that there is some water that collects below the colander. Now on this day also you will find that the color of the peel of the mango has not changed much. It is still a darker green color. So give it a good mix twice a day. Put your weight on back and you can see that there is some water already collected. We are going to use this water. Now we have to keep this for another day. So altogether I've kept it for 3 days exactly. Now on date 3, you will see a lot of change in the color of the peel of the mango. It has become a very light green color. The mango pieces have become nice and soft. So now we are ready to make our mango pickle or our miskut, which is such a delicious pickle. Now we're going to transfer this into a large bowl, and this is the reserve water. Now I'm going to put the reserve water on a very low flame and I'm going to bring it to a very light boil. Now in another pan, I'm going to heat about 1 cup of tea oil or sesame oil. You can use regular oil that you use for cooking too. Now we're going to heat it on a low to medium flame, but we're going to bring it to a smoky temperature. That is, your oil has to actually start smoking like this. You will actually see smoke coming out of your oil. Then you're going to add 1 teaspoon of hing or asafoetida, and 1/4 teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon, and we're going to put the flame off completely. Now here I have about just about 1/4 teaspoon of methi seeds. I'm just going to roughly roast it, and this is the ready-made split mustard powder that you get for pickles. So you get this available in the market, or if you don't have it, just use mustard seeds, roast them and coarsely grind them. This is some red chili powder and there's some turmeric or haldi powder. So now my methi seeds are nice and roasted. I'm going to transfer them to my mortar and pestle and I'm going to grind them to a very fine powder. So like I said, if you don't have the mustard powder, just use regular mustard seeds, coarsely, roast them and then grind them to a fine powder. Now I'm going to add all my ingredients to my kairi, which is my haldi powder. I'm going to give you the exact measurements in my description box below. Next goes in my red chili powder. So this you can add as per taste or as per the measurement I give you. Then we're going to add our mustard powder. This mustard powder is available very easily. And then the methi powder. Just tell your grocery person that I want mustard powder for making pickles. And then we're going to give all of this a very, very good mix. Now I've transferred it to a clean, dry glass bottle, and I'm going to pour my cooled down oil, to which I've added some asafoetida or hing, and I'm going to give everything a good mix. Now remember, your bottle should be clean and dried, even sun-dried if possible, and your spoon should always be completely dry. Never use any kind of wet spoon. Now I'm adding the reserve water, and we're going to keep this bottle in a nice dark cool place for at least a week. You'll have to have patience with this, and we are going to keep it for a week. And every day you can just take a dry spoon and just mix it up. Just do it once a day, and then after 7 days your pickle will be all ready to enjoy. The mangoes, the red chilies, and the asafoetida or hing all done up together and nicely mixed up together, and put this heavy weight. So the small lid will press down on the mangoes, and I've covered it with a muslin cloth, and we're going to keep it in a nice dark place, not in a cool place, in a dark place in the anywhere in your house where it is going to be nice and cozy and dark. Keep it over there. And now we're going to keep this for 3 days, but every day after 24 hours we're going to open it up, we're going to sprinkle some more salt, toss the mangoes a little bit, and again cover it and keep it the same way. So this is day 1. I'll see you on day 2. So guys, today is day 2, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix up the salt and the mangoes, the chilies, just with my hand once, and then add a little salt if I feel that I need to add a little bit more of salt. And then again we're going to put the plate down on the mangoes, put the heavy weight, cover it with the cloth, and again keep it for another 24 hours. Here. So today is day 3, and I'll show you that when I opened up the mangoes, you will find that the salt has become really thick. Like when you go to the beach and the sand which is much nearer to the water, it's thick. So when you pick it up, you can make a real, hold it in your hands. That's what the sand consistency. So we are nearing to that particular stage where we want, the pickle to be. And you will see that the mangoes also have really softened up. Some of them have even changed to a little bit of an olive green color. That's what we're looking for. We want it to go from the dark green to an olive green color, and the mangoes have to be really soft. Like you will see, that will happen mostly on day 4 or day 5, and the salt will completely change into brine or water, and we are going to use that brine too. So I'll just show you what I do on day 3.
4 of our lovely mango pickle in brine. And today when you see that most of the mangoes have become an olive green color, and the salt has completely changed its consistency. If you hold it in your hand and press it, you actually get water coming out of the salt. So I'll show you that process, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix everything again really well, again press it down with the plate and the heavy weights, cover it a cloth, and keep it aside in that place in my kitchen. And I guess by tomorrow we'll see that all the salt has changed into water, and then we'll continue with the process. So let me show you what happens on day 4. Now, one thing I forgot to mention it to you all is that this pickle needs to be made in the summer. Of course, raw mangoes are now available most of the time, but from the month of March onwards, this is when the heat really is at its peak. Till May, you can make all these pickles and preserve them for the monsoons. What you require is a lot of heat, so keep that in mind. But if it's in rainy weather, you won't get that consistency. So it has to be really hot, and you have to follow the process. And maybe it will take 4 days, maybe 5 days, maybe 6 days, depending upon the heat and the humidity. I mean, the heat in the area that you stay, and other things like the salt, the mangoes, everything. So that's what I wanted to just share with you. So let's see what happens on day 4. Day 5. Let's see what's happening with the mangoes. So let's see today's lovely Goan tendli pickle. Now here I've taken 100 grams of tendli, or you can call it tondli or tendli. Now I've washed it really well, and I'm going to take off the tips. Now I'm going to cut each of the pieces into half, and then each half into either 2 or 3 pieces. We're looking for very thin slices like this. So transfer all the cut pieces into a bowl and continue cutting the rest of them in the same way.
So you can either cut them into 2 halves if they are very small, or if they are a little larger, you can cut them into 3 and lengthwise. Now we're going to add 2 tablespoons of salt, and we're going to mix everything really well, and we're going to cover and set this aside for at least 8 hours. You can keep it overnight too, but 8 hours is sufficient. Now after 8 hours, I'm going to squeeze out all the excess water or liquid that comes out of the tendli really well. And then I'm going to keep it on a kitchen napkin. See, you can see all the water or the liquid coming out. Just squeeze it. Now what this does is this ensures a longer shelf life of the pickle. I followed almost a similar method with my brinjal pickle and mango pickles. I'll leave the link to all my pickle recipes in the description box below. And you can see how much of the liquid is collected. Discard that liquid. Now we're going to let this completely dry for 24 hours. Keep changing the napkin, the kitchen napkin below after every maybe 4 or 5 hours, and keep it in the sun if possible. Now after 24 hours, you will see that it has shriveled up or dried up like this. Now we're going to grind the masala paste. Now for that I am using 1 inch of ginger, 8 cloves of garlic, 1 tablespoon of cumin or jeera, half a teaspoon of turmeric or haldi powder, 7 red chilies, and half a cup of vinegar. Now not a drop of water goes into this masala. Now I like to grind my masala on the stone because then there's no chance of any water getting into the pickle. You can also use a mixer grinder. Just grind the masala to a very fine paste, only using the vinegar, not a drop of water. That will ensure longer shelf life, and of course the taste also from the vinegar is amazing. So grind this masala really fine. And then you get a nice fine masala paste like this. So now our paste is ready and our tendli is ready, so we can start with the recipe. So now here I've just heated up about 1.5 cup of oil, and we're going to add this tendli to the oil, and we're going to fry it really well on a low to medium flame for 5 whole minutes. We want this to become nice and crispy. That really enhances the flavor of this pickle. So once it's done, just take it out again on a kitchen napkin to drain all the excess oil. Now to the same oil, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of mustard seeds. Let the mustard seeds splutter nicely, and then we're going to add a few curry leaves, 7 to 8 fresh curry leaves. Let the curry leaves also become nice and crispy. Then I've taken 1 green chili and I've chopped it up fine. I'm going to add the green chili. Now fry the green chili really well till it gets a nice white kind of coating on the peel. Now we're going to add our ground paste. Now once the paste hits the hot oil, you'll get this beautiful aroma of the paste as well as the vinegar. So fry this for a whole minute. The masala also needs to be really fried well in this oil. So fry the masala for a whole minute. Now remember not to add a single drop of water to this recipe. And now we're just going to add our fried tendli back into the oil. And now just mix everything really well together. Now we're just going to season it with some salt to taste. And I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of jaggery. Mix everything really nicely well together. If you don't have jaggery, you can also use sugar, but jaggery gives a beautiful taste to this lovely pickle. And now just cook it for just about a minute. And then we're going to switch off the heat and let this mixture completely cool to room temperature. You'll see that even after I put off the heat, it will still be bubbling. So let it cool for at least about 30 to 45 minutes. And only then transfer it to a clean dry glass bottle, and always ensure that there's an inch of oil over the pickle. That way it will remain for a longer period of time like this. And that's it, guys. Our lovely tondli pickle is all ready to enjoy.